All right. Hello and welcome to Salesforce Architects Calling with Tuan Abdeen. Today's episode is a special one. For the first time on this episode, I'm sitting down for an in-depth conversation with one of the newest members of the elite certified technical architect community. We will dive into his journey, the challenges, the lessons, and the mindset it takes to reach the pinnacle of Salesforce certifications. Whether you are an aspiring CTA, a developer, or an admin looking to level up, there's something here for everyone. So buckle up. This is going to be insightful, inspiring, and maybe even a little bit of fun. All right, without a further ado, hey Vikesh, it's great to see you today. And I'm genuinely excited about this conversation because today's guest isn't just a CTA, he is someone I had the privilege of coaching throughout his entire CTA journey. First and foremost, Vikesh, thank you for taking the time to be here.
Hey, Tuan. Thank you for having me on this podcast.
Sure. And we both know how demanding the CTA path is, the
Yeah,
preparation, the discipline, the sacrifices. So I truly appreciate you joining me to share your experience with all the listeners who are aspiring to become CTAs in the future. And for those who may not know Vikesh yet, you're about to hear from someone who has walked the full journey from hands on delivery to reaching the pinnacle of Salesforce architecture. So before we dive in, let's get to know our guest a little better. So Vikesh, let's begin by telling your name, little bit about yourself, and also tell us and take us back to when you first started your Salesforce journey, please.
sure. So, hey everyone, for those who don't know me, my name is Vikesh Gajola and I'm a Salesforce certified technical architect. I work with large enterprises to design and scale complex Salesforce ecosystems and from data strategy and integrations to governance and now AI and Agentforce as well. My focus is to make sure that the architecture holds up long term for every project that we deliver, and it's not just for the next release. So that's one of the learnings that we get as part of the CT journey as well, to build scalable and long term solutions over just for the sake of delivery. Well, if you ask about my journey, like my journey actually started outside Salesforce. I was .NET, working on .NET initially. Yeah, I started as a developer, then progressed into .NET lead architect. But I started my Salesforce journey 13 years ago. Okay, that time an opportunity came in the same company where I was working on .NET to work on a Salesforce project, and at that time the platform was really growing fast. Okay, so I thought, why not give it a chance? Why not try it out, something new. So honestly, as I was working on a project and I didn't know Salesforce at all, so the first few months were really intense, because I had to learn everything from scratch, like while delivering on the project as simultaneously. I had to do my own POCs, do a hands-on, play on the developer rock. And mind you, there were no trailheads or online material like we had now. So it was very intense, and but it was worth, because that challenge is actually really pulled me into Salesforce, and I've been in the ecosystem ever since then. And from then, from last 13 years, I would say, no, I've been continuously learning and evolving to learn more and more about this platform and product.
Amazing, amazing. I can also very relate to this story. When I started my journey back in 2009, like you said, there was no trail lead. I do remember as my day one, they were given me a physical handbook of Apex for me to read and learn. So I
Right.
can understand how was the learning journey was back
Yeah.
then. But 16, 17 years back, we are all here as CTS.
Ex-
Amazing. Also, we will definitely unpack your path to becoming a CTA in a moment, but I know many aspiring architects listening today are curious about this. So, Vikesh, can you tell us how long have you been a certified technical architect for now? And most importantly, from career perspective, what truly changed for you once you earned the title?
Uh, Passed my CT just recently in November 2025, just 3 months back. But the real work was 2 years that lead up to it, to the exam. And honestly, that journey was transformational. That CTA journey, it really changed how I think as an architect, from how we build this to what's the right trade-off for the business long term. With respect to the solution that we are proposing, and that mindset really shifted or changed me as an architect or an enterprise architect, I would say. And the title, actually, to be honest, nothing dramatically changed overnight by earning the title, but I didn't suddenly become a different architect as well after earning the title. I still remain the same architect, but there was quite confidence that came with it. After 2 years of preparation, I felt amazing, to achieve something that only a small percentage of people have achieved so far. And personally, the biggest win was just getting my time by, because CTA journey is intense. I've spent every week 15 to 20 hours studying, doing walks, apart from the daily, work, our day to day job that we do of 8 to 9 hours. Now, so getting that 15 hours or 15 20 hours, 20 hours a week back was really good, because I am able to relax more, spend more time with family and friends again. I'm able to focus on my other hobbies and something outside of CTA journey as well. So it's in there, but earning the title is something that was, magical in my view.
Great story. The
Yeah.
CTA is not an easy path, like you said. It requires a lot of sacrifice, discipline, and very clear purpose. So, Vikesh, at what point in your career did you
Mm.
realize that pursuing the CTA credential was the right path for you? And can I also know what motivated that decision? What was your personal why behind going after one of the toughest certifications in the ecosystem?
I know. It is one of the toughest certifications of the Salesforce ecosystem, I would say. That's why it's set on top of the pyramid when you see all the architect pyramid, you say. But at first, I know I heard about this CTA term around 7 years back, and I didn't had the prerequisites as well at that time. And at first, it was just curiosity. And as I progressed through my Salesforce career and working on projects as an architect, I completed all the prerequisites. But the real turning point to give my 100% and go into the CTA journey was when I started working closely with a few CTAs. I noticed how differently they thought compared to the other non-CTA architects, compared to myself. Yeah, and they always were looking at the whole system. When a requirement came or a business problem came, they were looking at the whole system, the business impact of a particular solution on the system, and what are the trade-offs as well as part of the solution. That's when I realized that I just don't want to solution just want to do a solution for a business problem. I wanted to think at that level, what are the repercussions of that particular solution. And that's when I decided to become a CTA seriously, and I started in this journey, which was around 2.5 years back.
Amazing, amazing. I know personally some of the CTA colleagues that help you in your current company. Hats off to all of them. I think talking about the motivation, you talked about the CTAs. I wanted to share a bit about my personal story also. For me, I've shared this story few places before. I was inspired by a former colleague of mine in Australia. At that time, she was pregnant with her second child,
Yeah.
and she was working as a full-time solution architect back then. That was her day job, while also managing all her responsibilities as a mom. After having the second newborn, she used to wake up right in the middle of the night to feed the newborn, and instead of going back to sleep, she used to use that quiet time to study and do the CTA mock exams. I was honestly gobsmacked to hear that story. So I remember thinking, if she can do that, balancing a full-time career, the motherhood, and CTA preparation, I have no excuse to say. So that's the moment something shifted for me. Shortly after that, I started my own CTA journey.
Absolutely. It requires a lot of dedication, and you need to have that passion, no matter how many obstacles that you see in your path, or how many, hiccups that you face in a path, while pursuing it, you just be, uh, adamant and stick to your journey, and don't get deflected. Then that's a very good important thing. Yeah. And that's I would like to say for every aspiring CTS, that you need to be adamant and strongly committed to your journey.
Okay, let's switch gears. So this is where probably many people listening will be leaning in, I guess. Most people start as a developer like you and me or as admins, and only few make it to the CTA level. So tell us, Vikesh, what were the pivotal skills that made the difference for you, in your opinion, to achieve CTA?
The three or four skills that I would say, very important. One was the technical breadth that you need to have, in terms of, the Salesforce ecosystem, or the number of products that we are quite huge in terms of breadth. So you need to understand the data, you need to understand the integrations that are supported both inbound and outbound, the security features of it, the governance part, and all the different core products and the other add-on products as well, like marketing and other one. And how this whole system or the platform products fit together, when you solve a scenario, how they fit together, and not just have one specialty. So you need to have a mastery in all the different products or the breadth of the Salesforce platform in that case. The second is the communication here. Being able to translate architecture or the solution that you do into business language to the C-level executives, and how to express or present in a way that a non-technical person also clearly understands your solution. Yeah. The third is the decision making and the trade-offs with respect to your solution, because the architecture is rarely about perfect solutions that we do. I mean, not every solution, I would say, every solution is different, but not every solution is wrong as well in that case. So it's all about what's right for the business, okay, and how you are able to communicate and defend your solution, okay. And honestly, if you have a continuous learning mindset, then it will all tie together. As you practice, as you do more and more mocks presentation, have your knowledge spread across different domains, you will do it, and all your solution will start to fit together. You will know it. And the Salesforce platform is, it evolves so fast, okay. So we'll have to also catch up or stay up to all the new things that are coming, the things that are getting sunset. So we have to keep growing, keep learning, and stay up to the latest, whatever is the new thing that has come up in the Salesforce platform.
Yeah, that is itself is a challenge, right? Of course, a lot of people like us have a continuous mindset, but the speed that the platform is evolving with all this agentic and other enhancements and acquisitions, it's not an easy journey. All right, I think this is a good segue for this question. I believe, as we know, the Salesforce CTA Credential may sound purely technical from the title itself,
Yeah.
but as we know, it goes far beyond that. From your perspective, what non-technical skills are truly critical to pass in the CTA exam? I know presentation skills, you touch upon communication skills. Presentation skills might be probably the most obvious one. But beyond that, Rigesh, which other soft skills or techniques do you believe are absolutely vital for this journey? And on a more personal note, which of those skills were the most challenging for you to develop or master?
Yeah, as I said, yeah, it's the Salesforce CT review board is not just about technical. Okay, the board is actually less about technical knowledge and more about how you perform under pressure, how you communicate, and how you handle the Q&A. Basically, it clearly tests, how you structure your problems when you solve a business scenario, how confidently you communicate with executives here. Once you solve scenario and once you do a presentation, that presentation should sound like you're communicating with an executives here, not just technical. That communication is a key bit, okay. And also, how will you justify the trade-offs? Like there will be a solution for a particular problem, but there could be multiple solution options as well. Okay, so which solution options? What are the trade-offs for it? And that is also very key here. As you know, the CTA exam is time box. You get limited time to solve the scenario, present, and then for the Q&A. So you have to make sure that you are doing each of those activities within that time box period. Now, if you miss, then there are very less chances of you passing the exam. So a lot of things, and right? Time management, performing under pressure, making sure that you communicate well and you justify your trade-offs, or what are the alternate solutions and have it in your back pocket, and defend when it comes to the Q&A. Now, and as I said, you can't design the perfect solution here, because it's time box, and you have to complete within that time. But you have to quickly prioritize and build that muscle memory as well. If problem comes, then what is the correct solution for that? You have to quickly come and you have to articulate your thinking clearly, why that solution is a perfect fit for that particular business problem. As part of the, after this CTA journey, I feel that it feels much closer to a real world scenario as well, than a technical team. Like, we sitting in front of a C level or business execs or a business team, and they throw a problem to us in front of us, and we cannot go back and say, yeah, we'll come back. If we had that, building that muscle memory, going through the CTA journey helps you, come up with the solution options right at that point when a business problem is thrown at you.
I fully agree. In my opinion, like you touched upon many of the things like time management, communication, object handling. These are being absolutely critical. I think everyone knows about them. If I talk about the exam day itself, like to talk about the time pressure, we are expected a solution under time pressure, often with very limited time to analyze the problem, design a solution, and then present to the judges and justify it. And presenting your solution in front of three elite CTA judges is also going to be an incredibly nerve-wracking experience.
Like, yeah.
Right. Also, one of my mentors once told me that this exam is really about why. There are
Yeah.
often, like you said, multiple ways to solve the same problem. So
Yeah.
what matters most is that you're clearly articulating what are your assumptions were, what are the reasons behind it. So you basically need to justify your proposal. So
Correct.
that way the judges can understand what were your thought process were, and they can see the logic behind your decision. I
Correct.
think that was something that all of you need to master.
No, I agree, and that was one of my weak points as well, as was, communicate, and justify the trade-offs. I remember, you, after multiple mocks, you telling me repeatedly that, I need to justify and to be, good to tell my trade-offs upfront, and that's one of my biggest point, the communication and justifying the trade-offs. But over the time, I mastered it, and I was able to, to communicate effectively during my review board as well, and justify my design decisions confidently in front of the judges.
Yeah, which is very, very important. All right, let's address the elephant in the room. The question everyone probably thinking about, is the CTA credential truly worth it? And beyond the title itself, what does it actually change, Vikesh?
I would say it's absolutely worth it, to be honest, because this journey is like an MBA program on the Salesforce platform itself, that you do, that you become a master on the Salesforce platform as an architect. And this credential, it is worth, only if your goal is to grow as an enterprise architect of Salesforce and as a trusted advisor going forward. But this CTA isn't just a certification, in my opinion. The CTA journey fundamentally changes how you think, how you handle business problems and come up with a solution, as I said, and how you communicate effectively with the C level exec. This journey teaches you that, right? And obviously, this journey is demanding compared to other CT certifications, but the growth you go through is far more valuable than the credential itself. So I would say, yeah, the credential is worth getting, but more worth is the journey and the transformation, that it transform you into a better enterprise level architect compared to how what you were, 1 or 2 years before the journey, I would say.
Yeah, 100% agree. It is a worthwhile experience. For me, in my opinion, looking back now, nearly 4 years after passing my own exam, I was thinking about reflections when I had this question for you. First, there was an immediate sense of credibility with my clients, peers, and colleagues. The title carries a lot of weight, and you
Correct.
can feel that shift almost instantly.
Yeah.
Secondly, my personal confidence level grew massively, significantly.
Yeah.
Not just internally, but especially in front of my customers. I found myself more composed, influential, and more assured with my architectural recommendations. And the journey itself taught me a great deal of resilience, sustained dedication. Preparing for this, like you said, isn't just about knowledge. It's
Yeah.
about discipline, consistency, pushing through moments of doubt. And perhaps one of the most valuable lessons I personally learned was how to work smarter, not harder.
Mm,
That process
yes,
refine how you think, how you prioritize things, how you approach
I agree.
complex problems. So
Yeah.
I would highly, highly, highly recommend this journey to anyone who is watching this and who is serious about becoming a stronger and more effective and well-rounded architect.
Yeah, I would say, if somebody is pursuing this journey, just for the status or the title, or without enjoying actually they don't enjoy the architecture work around behind it, then the journey can feel overwhelming for them. The journey is most rewarding when you are genuinely curious about solving complex problems at scale, you want or passionate about architecture and long-term impact, then it's one of the most rewarding journeys you can take, in my opinion. It will truly change
100%.
you. What you can the transformation that you can see in the 2 years of your journey is much more than the next 5 years that you work as an architect on multiple projects, I would say.
Yes, very well said. And there's a great analogy I like. It truly takes a village to make a city. We have talked about this massive commitment, the dedication this journey requires. In my personal opinion, view, there are three key players in this village who plays a pivotal role. First is your family. They
Mm.
make sacrifices alongside you with you and provide that support you need. Second is your CTA coach, someone who guides you, highlight your gaps, show your areas of improvements. And last but not least, the study buddies, your peers to bounce ideas off, share your knowledge, and learn together. So, Vikesh, I believe this trio is crucial for your success, but I'd love to hear your perspective. Do you agree, or are there any other key players you would add to this list?
Yeah, 100% agree with you that CTA is not a solo journey. You need support and sacrifices from your family. As you need a CTA coach, who is equally committed as you are in this journey to fill your gaps, to uplift you when you're down, and to help you overcome any challenges and be ready for the exam. I mean, without the CTA coach, I would say it's not impossible, but it will be a long and costly journey comparatively, I would say. And study groups, yes, very very important. Again, I made that mistake of kind of going solo before my first eval board with just a course and studying by myself. But that after I failed my first eval board, I realized that the one thing that I was missing and key was the study groups. The like-minded people who can share their knowledge, who can listen to your problems, come up with solutions, in terms of Salesforce, and who they can judge apart from your CTA coach. CTA coach cannot be with you, twice or thrice a week. Yeah, and study groups are the people. So it's important to have the study groups as well as compared to the coach as well. Yeah, but apart from these three, I would also like to add two more things. One is it's important to have a supportive workplace, like your managers, your leadership team from your company. If you're working, they need to be supportive and helping you in whatever way possible, to achieve that city title. And second is the self discipline. You need to be consistent or committed enough to show up every day, to study, to join the study groups, to do mocks, to present those mocks, take those feedbacks constructively and work on them. I remember solving those mocks, recording while solving, and watching those 3 4 hour long videos minute by minute to see where I'm taking long time, where I'm going wrong. Even the mock recording, everybody hate listening their own voice, and I used to hate the most because I used to hear those recordings again and again, and where I was going wrong, where I'm not justifying the trade-offs, where I'm not justifying the solution. It is there, and it's really the combination of support around you in terms of family, your coach, everyone, and the commitment from within you as well. If one of them is missing, then you may feel your journey is a bit difficult compared to the others.
I fully agree. I think we need those supporting people around you because this is not a small, short engagement. It's a long haul. So it's sometimes people say it's a marathon, not a sprint. So that requires a lot of effort, not
Yeah.
from your own perspective, but from your supporting colleagues and family around you. Yeah, we briefly talked about this, Vikesh, earlier. You mentioned about how much Salesforce is growing and how rapidly it's growing. So this ecosystem and the platform is so broad now in this day and age. And with the CTA review board and the platform being so vast, with 20 plus industry solutions, new acquisitions like the Informatica recently, Data 360, now with the agentic advancements, etc., to name a few. With the platform being so incredibly broad today, first, how do you stay on top of the pace of innovation and continuous growth? You mentioned about continuous learning mindset. So touch upon that little bit detail. And looking ahead, how do you see AI is changing the role of an architect?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Salesforce with Salesforce, when you're working with Salesforce, you can't stand still. Yeah, the platform changes too fast. We have 3 releases per year, new products coming in, some products getting sunsetting. Okay, and especially now with AI and Agent Force, which are evolving very very fast. So I treat, in my personal opinion, I treat learning as part of the job, not something extra that I have to do. Uh, outside my job, I would say. But I focus first on keeping or going deep in my core areas of specialization of the product, Salesforce product, because Salesforce product, as I said, you said 20 plus industry solutions, there are different clouds. So, but I focus first on going deep in my core areas of specialization after every release to understand what has been newly introduced or improved, what has been sunset, etc., so that I stay on top of that. And I regularly explore what's new across the ecosystem as well, and stay active in the community, the Salesforce community, where the different architects and like-minded people, come up with a lot of videos, articles. They share, I watch those videos and articles, to try and learn about the new features and do some hands-on as well with the help of trailers. But it's not, you cannot learn about a new product or feature, completely in one day. It's really about small consistent learning that you have to do rather than trying to catch up all at once. That's what I follow as well. Slow and steady learning, that's what CTA journey as well. You cannot do learn everything in 3 months and go for the exam. It is a long journey. You have to slowly and steady learn and build up your knowledge and then go. And if you ask about how AI or agent force is changing the role of articles, then yes, I think AI and agent force does change the role of articles in a big way. A lot of the tactical work that we used to do, like writing Apex, building flows, or writing integration, etc., that's going to be generated or heavily assisted by AI going forward, like the AI tools that we have. But the architecture doesn't go away. Obviously, the AI can help you in architecture in terms of giving you some option, or presenting, what could be the correct data model object for that. But it actually, as an architect, it actually moves up a level for you. Now we are designing systems where humans like us and AI work together to solve a business problem. Earlier, it used to be just humans, but here we cannot completely rely on AI as well. So the humans and AI will have to work together to come up with a designing systems. We have to think about the governance as well, the data trust and the security, and what guardrails those agents or the AIs have to operate within. Because when AI does some mistakes, those could get expensive in long term. So we cannot completely rely on AI as well, but at the same time we have to take help of the AI as well, but and monitor and work efficiently together, in my opinion. So the CTA becomes less of a builder going forward with the help of AI and Agent Force, and more of an orchestrator or a strategist here, like thinking less about how do we build this to compare to should we actually automate this with the help of AI, and if we do, then how do we do it safely, without having any issues comparatively. It is evolving, and this role of a Salesforce architect is becoming more and more interesting with the advancements that we are having in terms of agent force and AI.
Yeah, fully agree. I think fundamentally, whatever we learn in terms of domains, whether it's security, whether it's integration, identity, governance, etc., is still applicable even in the agentic world. Like you said correctly, we are now not only building systems for real human, but we are also building or keeping mind of this agentic. AI agents, right? So all of these concepts, the fundamentals, as we gone through as architect, it's still 100% valid even in this new world. So you touched upon continuous mindset. Yes, like you correctly said, it's very important. I think the learning journey doesn't end even once you become a CTA,
Yeah,
right? I think the most important thing that you have to start thinking and learning is to embrace uncertainty. With this, all this AI, we are moving into these new AI ecosystems. You'll have to be stay agile, be adaptable to changes, and evolve with the market needs. Like you said, good example would be AI. And above all, building resilience is what you have truly learned during the CTA journey, and what truly makes you stronger and more effective as an architect.
yeah,
So the whole journey itself is an experience, so enjoy that.
I agree. And in fact, I would say after becoming a CTA, it is kind of a mandatory to stay up to date with the new products that are coming in, new features, because the business or the executive or even your company's leadership, they expect you to know everything. So it becomes even more difficult or challenging as a CTA to stay up to date, and it becomes kind of a mandatory thing, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a challenging journey once even after you pass the exam. Truly agree. I think I would love to end our conversation today on a something powerful, Vikesh. If you could leave one piece of advice for everyone listening, whether it's developers, admins, consultants, or even the aspiring architects, what would it be?
For everyone, like be it an admin, developer, or architect, like one piece of advice that I would like to share, which I received very early in my career as well. One of my managers in early companies, told me that, which really stuck to me, that to always share your knowledge with others. Some people think that knowledge is a job security, especially in the current world, but actually, in my opinion, it's not. Growth is your job security. You have to grow yourself continuously. When you share your knowledge with others, you're automatically pushed to learn something new, to grow yourself so that you stay one level ahead of others. And one piece of advice for the aspiring architects is the journey is tough, could be challenging, but it's the perseverance. You need to be uh, stick you need to stick to your journey no matter if you fail. I did fail once, some people fail twice or thrice as well. Think of it as you're learning something new, you're growing as an architect. That the title or the certification is just a stamp that yes, you are a certified technical architect. That proves that yeah, you are a technical architect of Salesforce. But more than the title, I say the journey is rewarding. So if you are want to go on that journey, then trust me, it's worth it, even if you don't pass.
Yes, definitely. One of the biggest advice I got from my one of my mentor was always be humble. And even though you are a certified technical architect, so this is something always I remember. There was a statement by Einstein. He said, "The more we learn,
The more,
the more we realize how little we know."
yeah,
So keep that in mind. Be always humble, and like you said, journey matters, right?
yeah.
And that's it for today's episode of Salesforce Architects Calling. Vikesh, thank you. I have really enjoyed the chat. Thank you once again, not just for your time, but for the entire journey, the discipline, the example that you have set for others in the ecosystem. I'm sure our listeners, the viewers, will be equally as inspired as I am today. Thank you very much. And everyone listening, take the lessons, embrace the challenge, and remember, architecture is not just about a title, it's a mindset. So until next time, keep building, keep learning, and keep challenging yourself. Ciao.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Tuan, for having me on your podcast, and good to see you. Thanks, everyone.